Hello, and welcome to today's technical webinar on how to create a mobile app integrated with UBL Studio. Sorry, UBL. Today I'll be taking a standard UBL application. I'll show some services created from the UBL app using AppIntegrated, and from there we'll create a HTML5 application that will run on the mobile browser. Then we'll take it a step further and we'll use the PhoneGap product to take the HTML5 app and wrap it up into a hybrid app that will run on the mobile phone. If you have any questions during the presentation, please use the questions and answer box on the GoToMeeting and I'll answer them at the end of the session. Thanks. Okay, so my name's Sean Roberts. I'm a senior software engineer. I've been with Transoft for about 20 years and I've been working on UBL amongst other things all that time. Okay, so the key to the whole solution here is to use AppIntegrated, which is our service-oriented architecture product. It's an established product, thousands of users worldwide, runs on Unix and Windows. It's lightweight, scalable, fast. It integrates with UBL via special built-in commands, and it has multiple connectors. The one we're interested in today is the JSON connector. JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. It easily and efficiently enables us to communicate between AppIntegrated and JavaScript on the browser. I will show some more of that shortly. So this is the AppIntegrated architecture diagram. The component broker in the middle here, that's what does all the work. Basically, we write our components in this service description language, and we have multiple different types of consumers that we can have, and the component broker can service those consumers from a variety of different languages, including COBOL, RPG, and for us UBL. And to create the service description language in the first place, we use the Transoft development suite to create the wrappers. Okay, the bits we're interested in today is the component broker, the SDL, and this, as I said earlier, the JSON connector and the HTML5 starter forms that TDS creates for us, and of course our UBL language. Okay, so first of all I'll start with the showing our typical UBL application. Just a bog standard application. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to go into the customer account inquiry. So basically it's just a text screen. We have a look at one of these customers. I'll just load up this one, and then we can view some of the account details here and some of the invoice information. And what we're going to do, we're going to use TCA to create services from this application to actually return all this stuff here, but as services instead. So in our Transoft developer suite, we've got a project here that I created earlier, UBL furniture system. So this is our service description language here. So I'll show you what this looks like in a text editor. So so it's a UBL component, and we're generating HTML5 application as well as COM, but we're not going to do anything with that. So I'll show you an example of one of our services here, get customer. So this get customer actually uses the same code that runs this program here, but it's based on the same code. It's not actually the same code. So as an input here, we take in a customer number, and it's a 6-character field, and these are the outputs that we get out of the service here. So we've got the customer name, address, and various other bits and pieces. But we don't actually need to know much detail about the SDL language in its raw format, because we don't really need to deal with that. TDS lets us do everything via property sheets. So I'll open it up in here and we can see different components here. So I've got the customer component here and we can see the services that it provides. So I get customer service. If I do properties on that, again, this is the same as I just showed you in the text editor. It's got the input field, customer number, and the various output fields here. So we could use this to actually create, to modify the service as well. So that we're going to be using this today, and also we're going to use the open items service. And what this does, it takes in a customer number and it returns an RS, which stands for results set, which means it returns multiple records of this information here. So that's quite useful. And we'll also use using the customer search, a general search. So we give it a customer number and then it returns all the customers that match. Sorry, we don't give it a customer number, we give it a partial customer number, and then it returns all the records that match, so we can list all our customers out in a result set. Okay, so once we've got our services set up, then the next step for our mobile development is to get the reverse proxy set up. So what a reverse proxy does, it allows the AppIntegrate service calls to be routed through the same address as the website that we're hosting it on. This avoids the potential problem of the website being able to load, but the AppIntegrate SOA calls to the server from being blocked by the browser. So I'll show you now. We've got our service, our components running here in the AppIntegrate administrator, and it's running on port 7563. So what we want to do, but I have a web server running on port 8080, and I want to route all the the AppIntegrate services through our web server so that we don't have to refer to this port. So this is my web server here. It's the Apache. So I'm going to show you how it's configured. So I'll open up the configuration file for that. Just to point out, everything that I'm going through at the moment is actually documented in the AppIntegrate documentation. There's a tutorial that goes through in detail everything that I'm covering here. So I'm just skipping through it all here because we haven't got the time to go through it in detail. So basically this is the reverse proxy stuff. So basically anything, if it receives an address with /TCA on the top, it will actually redirect it behind the scenes to this address here, which is the actual AppIntegrate server here. As you can see, it's the same port number. So once we've got this set up, I can go into my browser. I can go to localhost port 8080. And then I can issue my service call, get customer, and I want the results returned in the JSON format. So I'll do format equals JSON, and I want the customer number. This is my input field. Customer number is C10101. Oh, there's a deliberate mistake there. Okay, so this output you see here, this is what the JSON format actually looks like. As you can see, it's quite simple format, which is one of the beauties of it. And JavaScript is especially capable of dealing with this information quite easily without us having to write lots of code. Okay, so back to TDS. Sorry, so we've got our services set up. So the next thing we need to do is to generate the HTML starter forms. So in my component properties here, I've specified that we're interested in the HTML starter forms there, so it will generate those source code for us, and our language is UBL. Okay, and then all you need to do is you just need to create the proxies, and then TDS does it all for you. I'm not going to do it because it's already been generated earlier. So basically it generates all this source code in here. I'll just show you what the actual UBL code for the service looks like for this, for the generated stuff. So I'll just open up the customer service. So this is the code that AppIntegrate generates for us. No, sorry, that's the wrong one. This is it. So basically, all this stuff is just boilerplate code. We don't really need to be too concerned with how it works. But the crucial thing is that we need to put our code in between these begin and end tags. So for example, for the get customer service, what we need to do is to put our code from our application to get the customer in this section here, and then just fill in these variables here with the actual answers, and then the wrapper and AppIntegrate will do the rest for us. So most of the complicated code is done for us. It's just our application code that we need to put in here, which obviously could be quite complicated as well. Okay, and once we've done that, AppIntegrate will create our starter forms for us here. So I've already placed these files in my web server in this mob demo directory structure here. So this tutorial.html is what AppIntegrated generated for us, and this JavaScript file, and also these subdirectories here. So now we can just have a look at this tutorial, what it generated for us. So I've got a link there to it. Okay, so this is the stuff that it just generates automatically. As you can see, all these buttons are created using a mobile-friendly design. It actually uses a library called jQuery Mobile to do all the user interface stuff. So jQuery Mobile is a completely free product that you can just download from the internet. It's just a JavaScript language library, really. And so these starter forms, they actually do work straight off. So if I put in a customer number and submit, it returns all this stuff, and we can go back. But as you can see, it just lists all the services together into one big file, which is not what we want. I mean, this is just a starting point, really. And our next step is to modify the HTML code that is generated and create our custom application using it. So this is something I've done earlier. I've taken this file, I've modified it, and I've created this app here. I'll show you the source code to this in a second. So basically just reorganized it and used different controls. So I'll go into the customer search. I've added a sign in here. Sign in. So to give you an idea what this would look like through a browser, just a quick, easy way of doing that is to just change your screen dimensions of the browser, and you can see what it would actually look like in the browser here. So we get a nice mobile-friendly, touch-friendly list here that if we wanted to, we could filter out items. Then we can select one of them. And so here we've got a collapsible list with the customer information on. I can open this up. I can press the map button. It should bring up a map. There we go. Using Google Maps. And then I can look at account information and also look at turnover charts. This turnover chart uses a third-party JavaScript charting library, which is free to download off the internet. It's called jQplot, and basically any JavaScript functionality you can find, you can use it in this. And then I can view the orders, and all the UI here is done with jQuery mobile. So I'll show you what that looks like in a second. So we can look at the products. And there we go. And I'll just go back here. Okay, so I'll just show you the source code to this demo, which is just a HTML file. So we've just, at the top here, we've just got the headers needed for the jQuery mobile library. In here, we've got the headers needed for the jQplot graph library that we used, and we got some. This is the code for rendering the bar charts that I showed you. And this stuff here is the stuff generated by AppIntegrated, so we don't really need to touch this for the moment. And just some more JavaScript helper functions here that we're using. So we'll go down to the interesting bit here. So this section here is all the code needed to show this page here. Basically, the way jQuery Mobile is organized is you use the div section, and you just create a data role attribute with equals to page, and it will organize anything in between that into one page on the jQuery Mobile. And then we can, with the data role header attribute set, as soon as you put a header in, it formats it into this sort of style here, so it's very quick and easy to do. And then the contents as well, the contents of the page. We're using an unordered list here just to view the results of the service call. And normally an unordered list in HTML doesn't look very exciting, but because we've added this data role list view, which is read by jQuery Mobile, it knows, it creates it as this special kind of list view here, touch friendly. So jQuery Mobile is very easy to use. It's you just need just a little markup like this, and it's very powerful. And so here, when we select one of our items, it goes to this ID here, get customer, with this information. So the get customer is just down here. So this is just another page. So I'll show you what that actually looks like in the browser. So I'll select one here. So this page here is done by this code here. So again, we've got a new page here, data role page, and a header. This time we've added the data. We've added a back button. That's all you need to do to add a back button in the mobile style like this. And And here we've got the data role collapsible to show a collapsible item like this. So that's really all you need to do to create that, and whether you want it collapsed to start with or not. And that's it really, you just carry on like that. As I said, this is covered in more detail in our quick start tutorial, which is actually supplied in the AppIntegrate documentation. Okay, so once we've got our mobile application in the HTML as a HTML website, that might be good enough for you, or you might like to actually package this up into a hybrid app using PhoneGap. PhoneGap is a free utility, is popular, free, open source. It's powered by Apache Cordova, which is also free and open source. And I'll show you what that does now. So I'll just bring up our Mac here. So to get going, this is our Apple Mac machine. You need to install the PhoneGap application, which is just a download from the internet, and just go to phonegap.com. And once you've installed it and added the bin directory to your path, then you just use the create command and give it a couple of paths to where you want the project created, and it just creates a skeleton application here, and it creates an Xcode project for us and this www directory. So in the www directory, all we do is paste our website in there, basically, all the files that we created earlier, and it will package those into a app, so it doesn't actually look like you're using a browser anymore. In fact, it's not using a browser anymore. So I'll open up the Xcode project. Okay, so I've already put all our code in there, our index.html, which I showed you. One thing we'll need to modify here is this TCA services.javascript. This is generated by AppIntegrate. So the only thing we need to do in here is to modify the address to where our web server is, to what's going to handle the service requests. So that's all I need to do there. And the other thing I need to do is, if I open up the resources cordova.plist, there's a thing called a whitelist, which basically a mobile phone app needs to declare all the external sites that it's going to use up front for security reasons. So in here, let me see. I'll scroll down. External hosts, you've got to declare it up front. So I've just put star in here, which means just allow everything. And then in the final app, I would tie that down a bit. But for our demo purposes, that's fine. So that's really all I need to do. I just need to paste all my HTML files and JavaScript files in there. Set that, change the address. Now, if I run this project, it should bring up an iPhone emulator. There we go, with our mobile phone app in it. So now if I go into customer search, I should be able to use it. And sign in. So now you can see it's exactly the same as the browser version, but there is no browser in sight. In fact, the site is actually on the phone now. It doesn't actually need the web browser to get any of this information. It's built into self-contained app that's on the phone. The only thing it needs the web access for is for the AppIntegrate service calls, which obviously we can't do without that. So now we can go in, and it's the same as before. We can view a map. And this is the the collapsible list here. View the turnover chart. View the orders. And there you go. That's all very straightforward. Okay, so just to recap, we used the AppIntegrate services to hook into the web server, and we had to create a reverse proxy just for convenience. And then the actual application is all written in HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, and they're all packaged. You can package all those together to create the PhoneGap. Okay, so in the AppIntegrate, we defined an interface with the service definition language. We created the components on the server side. All the code was generated automatically for us, and then we had the HTML and JavaScript automatically generated, which we then modified and created a proper app with. I'll just show you quickly the jQuery mobile site. If you just go to jQueryMobile.com, it has all the documentation here of how to use it. It's very, very straightforward. The actual site is done using jQuery Mobile as well. So it's you can create all these kinds of controls here, which we use some of them in our demo. But there's obviously a lot more that you can do, and you can use any of these. You can in your HTML app. Okay, and that's it for today. I'll just see if there's any questions. I don't think there's any questions, so thank you very much for attending, and thanks very much.